The Celtics played the LA Lakers Saturday night. It was a very entertaining game, to say the least. However, it ended in a very questionable manner in regulation. So, Kyle, before we actually get into the nitty-gritty of what happened, what are your thoughts on the game as a whole and how you guys played? Because it looked like you guys were doing relatively well in terms of finding ways to score.
We were in it. I mean, when I say we, I'm talking about the Lakers. I am a Lakers fan. I'm just putting that out there, just so I cover my bias there. No, I thought the Lakers were competitive against the Celtics, and the Celtics are one of the best teams in the NBA. If I remember off the top of my head, I believe the Celtics have the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. And the fact that we were in a dogfight and we actually had an opportunity to win that game at the end of regulation against a team like the Celtics, I mean, good on the Lakers. I mean, we look at the Lakers this year, the Lakers are not that good. They're basically at the bottom of the barrel in the Western Conference. I mean, they're not in the same category as teams like the Rockets or the Spurs. Or a little bit better than that, but not by much. And even though that they have LeBron James, Anthony Davis at their disposal, it's just they just can't rise to the occasion consistently to be a competitive team in the Western Conference. But this game specifically, they had their chances. Patrick Beverly gets a putback dunk late in the fourth quarter. They go up by two. Then they give up a bucket on the other side, and then it's a tie game. And then it all comes down to this one drive by LeBron James where he was clearly fouled on the way up for a layup. And Kev, it was an egregiously missed call. And look, when it comes to LeBron's reaction, I understand being frustrated about not getting the call that could have essentially won you the game. But Kev, LeBron's almost 40, and the way that he reacted, he was being dramatic like a 5-year-old, like not getting his way. It's just, to me, it was a little over dramatic as far as I see it. Obviously, he didn't get the call, and it was clearly a missed call as far as I saw it. I mean, literally, it was hand on arm on his way up as he's going for the layup, and the refs didn't call it. And even in the pool report or the refs report after the game, the NBA even admitted that they missed a call. It wasn't even close. It's just, I think refs get in their head that unless it's just blatant, where there's clearly a foul in those last second moments and situations, they're not going to call it. But to me, this is one where you clearly have to call it. And look, LeBron more than likely would have knocked down one of two free throws had he gotten the call. LeBron's not the greatest free throw shooter in the world, but even knowing it's LeBron, I would expect him to get one. Maybe not two, but definitely one. And that could have been enough for the Lakers to get a huge road win against a team like the Celtics, but the game goes into overtime. Celtics knock down the majority of their shots, and they end up winning the game. So when it comes to the call itself, it's a bad call. The fact that it wasn't called is just egregious as far as I see it. The refs got to make that call. But the Lakers could have played better in overtime, and they simply just didn't do it. And that's really been the Lakers' MO this year is offensively, they've played good enough to win games, but defensively, they just can't step up to the occasion and make critical stops on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, Kev, great that this game went into overtime, but they gave up 125 points. You just can't have that. You have to score at least 125 to 130 points a night. And granted, you got AD, you got LeBron, but you can't rely on LeBron to drop 35 to 40 points at 37, 38 years old consistently and it come in these losses. Eventually, he's just going to run out of gas. We're more than halfway through the season, and I think LeBron's dropped 5 40-point games, and I think there's only been like one or two of those games that they've won. There's like sub 500 when I think he's dropped 40 plus. I may have that wrong, but even the fact that LeBron is playing this well in his late 30s, the fact that they're not getting wins, it's just indicative of where the team is. The team is just not good enough to be able to compete at a high level to potentially being a playoff caliber team. We're not talking championship caliber. We're talking playoff caliber. They're just not at that point yet. And, you know, in this one game specifically, they had a chance to get a huge road win that could have set them up for a good little stretch. Maybe they get a little momentum kick before we reach the All-Star break, but it didn't work out in their favor. The refs missed a blatant foul call, and the Lakers are still sitting at a sub 500 record. So it's just kind of more of the same as far as I see it. Lakers got to play better, or they could be sitting at home, and they could miss a play-in tournament situation, which I think would just be an outright failure for the Lakers this year. So I'll just kind of leave it at that.
I have to ask how Patrick Beverley was damn near the second leading scorer on this team in this game. Anthony Davis didn't demand for the ball in that second half, especially in that overtime period. It looked like he was just faltering back to letting Braun do what he wanted to do, albeit Braun had 41, 8, and 9. So, I mean, who's to say that Braun wasn't going to get every shot anyway? But Anthony Davis just does not look aggressive. He just does not look like he wants the ball. He doesn't want to be in the spotlight. He doesn't want to have the attention on him. I don't know, because in this game, it didn't seem like Anthony Davis wanted anything to do with winning. Yeah, he had 16 points and 10 rebounds, but I mean, we're talking about Anthony Davis, the second best player on this team. Mr. Plainclothes Davis finally graces us with his presence last week, and he goes and gives you 16 points in a rivalry game. And it's a historical rivalry game, not a division rivalry game or anything like that. You have to have your 38-year-old teammate carry the load with 41 points. I believe I saw a statistic somewhere where it said since Braun has turned 38, he's averaging over 37 points a game. That was a month ago. He turned 38 on December 30th. It is literally, at this moment as we're recording, January 30th. So for a month straight, he's averaged almost 40 points a game. And the Lakers have won maybe half of those games. Maybe even a little less. I don't know. What I'm getting at is, the bad call aside, the Lakers have to find a way to help LeBron James. Patrick Beverley is probably the GOAT for going up to the referee and showing him a camera from a photographer or courtside somewhere, walking up and showing him a picture of the foul. You can see it zoomed in. Jason Tatum's hand is hitting LeBron James. Patrick Beverley gets teed up immediately. By no means did he deserve a tech, because that was probably the funniest thing I've ever seen, while at the same time, probably the most G thing you can do and say, yo, I'm just letting you know, you messed up pretty bad, and it's right here in your face. But again, man, the Lakers show that they're competent. They can contend. They can fight games like this against better teams. But when it comes to just execution, when it matters the most, they were unable to do so. And yes, the foul call was probably mentally draining, exhausting. They probably were not checked out, but they were probably like, damn it, man, this could have been our game. So they were maybe mentally fatigued. But you got to find a way to push through that. And then Russell Westbrook, 4-14, not a very good night from him coming off the bench as well. -10 in the plus-minus scale. So 5 turnovers, just overall not a good look for him. I know that he didn't really contribute in this game. So the Lakers got to find a way to do better. The Celtics hold on for dear life. But, man, LeBron James is just on a historical tear. I don't think the NBA has ever seen anything like this, because this man is literally carrying a franchise on his shoulders.